Ayrton Senna, the rain prophet from Sao Paulo? Senna wasn't driving the car, he was the car, and the rain, just background music. With 65 pole positions, 3 world championships, and a highlight reel that feels more like divine intervention than racing, Ayrton redefined what on the limit looked like. His 1993 Donington lap was basically a TED Talk in throttle modulation. He didn't just overtake. He passed people like his game had access to cheat codes. Off track, he was soulful, complex, and uncomfortably real. On track, he believed in God, and at 200 miles per hour, God might have believed in him too. Michael Schumacher, the precision engine wearing human skin. Forget domination, Schumacher industrialized it. 7 titles, 91 wins, and one diabolical habit of turning Sunday into Groundhog Day for his opponents. Ferrari was a meme before he arrived. He turned them into a glitch in the constructor's matrix. Obsessed with fitness, data, and 0.002s worth of tire wear, Michael didn't just outdrive you. He outworked you, outtested you, and outwoke up earlier than you. The man treated every lap like a calculus exam and somehow finished it before you even sharpened your pencil. Lewis Hamilton, the stat sheet melter and cultural reset button. More poles than NASA, more wins than your dad's war stories. Lewis didn't just tie Schumacher's 7 titles. He did it while carrying the weight of history, social activism, and a wardrobe that could headline Fashion Week. From his 2007 debut meltdown of the F1 Matrix to that 2020 Turkish GP masterclass on bald tires, Hamilton evolved into something bigger than a driver. A symbol, a disruptor, a walking contradiction of focus and flair. The paddock called him dramatic. He called them behind him. Juan Manuel Fangio, the 5-time boss of the dangerous years. Fangio won 5 championships when the steering wheels were made of wood and the safety regs were try not to die. The man switched teams mid-season, took their cars, and still won titles like he'd scripted the season in advance. With a win percentage of nearly 50%, he was a soft-spoken Argentine calculator wrapped in leather and fireproofed guts. Everyone else was playing checkers on fire. Fangio was doing long division at 180 miles per hour in loafers. Alain Prost, the calculated assassin in a lab coat. They called him the professor, but let's be honest. Alain Prost wasn't handing out grades. He was stealing your lunch money with a tire strategy. 4 world titles and a brain calibrated to milliseconds. Prost didn't race like Senna's spiritual roller coaster. He raced like Excel spreadsheets had feelings. His battles with Senna were part philosophy debate, part televised therapy session. Prost didn't need drama. He needed margins, clean lines, and the perfect undercut. Cold, clinical, and unshakable. He didn't beat you with speed, he beat you with inevitability. If you made it this far without spinning into the gravel of nostalgia and hot takes, you clearly belong here. Hit subscribe before Prost undercuts your racing line and turns your algorithm into a caution flag. Sebastian Vettel, the smiling assassin with championship PTSD, 4-time world champ, and part-time comedian, Vettel's early years were Red Bull-fueled obliteration. He made pole positions look like clock-ins at the Chaos Factory and led laps like it was a side hustle. Then came the Ferrari redemption arc, sprinkled with heartbreak, strategy blunders, and that one time he called his car Lena like it was a telenovela character. A driver of 2 halves, the ruthless stats machine of 2010 to 2013, and the endearing chaos uncle of his twilight years. He spun sometimes, he memed often. He cared too much, maybe. Fernando Alonso, the eternal flame with 0 chill. Alonso won 2 world titles and about 74 mental warfare battles. Known for making slow cars look quick and teammates look stupid, he's the guy who never really left F1. He just rebranded it as a hostile takeover. From taking on Schumacher in 2005 to dragging a McLaren Honda brick to Q3, Fernando has driven in every timeline imaginable, and somehow he's still fast, still bitter, still beautiful, like if Spite could do donuts. Every race he enters is just another reason to never retire, until he probably does in 2046. Max Verstappen, the iRacing speed demon born with DRS enabled. Max Verstappen is what happens when F1 builds a rage-buffed toddler into a quadruple world champion. Debuted at 17, won by 18, and now basically leads races by teleportation. His 2021 season was a meme folder. His 2022 and 2023 runs were just tutorials in ruthless perfection. With car control so good it looks like desync, Verstappen doesn't just lead, he disappears. Fuel strategy? optional. Teammate harmony? LOL. Max is the chaos genie let loose on F1, and you better believe he's not going back in the bottle. Niki Lauda, the man who lit himself on fire and came back stronger. Niki Lauda didn't just race. He resurrected himself mid-championship like a phoenix in a balaclava. After nearly dying in a flaming wreck at the Nürburgring in '76, Lauda skipped 2 races and returned still bleeding from his burns. Because points, 3 world titles, ruthless precision, and an allergy to nonsense, Lauda wasn't flashy, he was factual. He told it like it was, wore a red cap like it was battle armor, and reminded everyone that bravery wasn't always loud. It was calculated, scarred, and absurdly fast. Jim Clark, the quiet annihilator with ballet shoes for feet. Jim Clark didn't speak much, but his Lotus sure did. 2 world titles, 25 wins in just 72 starts, and an aura so smooth it practically rolled itself into corners. The man made driving look like cheating. He won Indy 500S, dominated F1, and still had time to obliterate every other form of racing he touched. There was no ego, no flex, just speed. Clark was a pre-internet myth, the type of guy who'd show up, race like a deity on vacation, then disappear into the fog. Jackie Stewart, the sniper who made F1 less suicidal. Before Jackie Stewart, F1 was just race fast, die faster. Then came the Flying Scotsman with 3 titles and the common sense of a safety prophet. His driving? Sharp. His mindset? Sharper. He sliced through the field with surgical precision, all while preaching tire conservation and seatbelts like it was gospel. Drivers mocked him at first, then he outdrove them. Then they lived long enough to thank him. Stewart didn't just win races, he turned F1 from blood sport into a slightly less horrifying blood sport. Nigel Mansell, the human elbow with a mustache and a vendetta. If raw stubbornness could drive, it would look like Nigel Mansell, world champion. In 1992, perpetual underdog energy, even when he was winning, Mansell was the F1 version of a pub brawler in a jet engine. Every race was a drama, every corner was a fist fight. His tire blowout in Australia? Legendary. His entire spine in the 80s? Basically optional. Nigel didn't finesse his way to victory. He bulldozed through it, mustache first, heart first, full send or nothing. Nelson Piquet? The petty psychologist with 3 titles and 0 filters. Piquet didn't race. He schemed. A 3-time world champion with the vibes of a garage prankster and the brain of a political strategist, Nelson turned F1 into a game of 4D chess where the pieces were always on fire. Fast, very ruthless, extremely. But his real superpower was mind games. He insulted teammates, taunted rivals, and somehow still made the car dance. You think Verstappen's brutal? Piquet once won a championship and immediately made jokes about his teammate's mom. A legend powered by turbochargers and pure disrespect. Kimi Räikkönen, the iceman who drove like a comet and spoke like a cave echo? Kimi didn't care. About the media, about the champagne, about your podcast. He just drove. Fast, brutal, efficient. 2007 world champion, walking meme, and possibly the only man who could win Spa and then disappear for a decade into a snowbank without explanation. While others gave interviews, Kimi said, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing," and drove like the tires owed him rent. A cult hero powered by minimal words and maximum throttle. Mika Häkkinen, the other flying Finn who traumatized Schumacher, 2-time world champ, and the only man Schumacher openly admitted he feared. Mika was the human embodiment of controlled demolition. Calm exterior, inner rage made of V10 thunder. His overtakes were chessboard ambushes with afterburners. Spa 2000? Literal racing art. While others overcompensated, Mika just turned the wheel and evaporated tension. The quiet kid at the party who steals your girlfriend and your constructor's points without making eye contact. Emerson Fittipaldi, the cool breeze who brought Brazil to the podium. Long before Senna lit Brazil on fire, Emerson Fittipaldi brought the first spark. 2 world titles, sideburns that could slice through politics, and a smoothness that made other drivers look like they were skidding on gravel. He won in a Lotus at 25, then turned McLaren into a title-winning machine. Later, he started his own team, because why not? The man was both pioneer and playmaker, delivering samba flair with championship consistency. Graham Hill, the gentleman pirate with a monocle in his aura, the only man to ever win the Triple Crown of Motorsport, Monaco GP, Indy 500, and Le Mans. Graham Hill didn't just drive, he style-coded it. He was a less race car driver, more suave supervillain with an addiction to podiums. Two-time F1 champ and five-time Monaco master, Hill turned every street circuit into his personal catwalk. His mustache deserved its own constructor's title, and his son just casually continued the legacy while crying at the same tracks. The House of Hill remains undefeated in class. Jenson Button, the smooth criminal of wet weather and vibes, world champion in 2009 with a car that looked like someone hit easy mode in the first half of the season. Button coasted through chaos with the elegance of a dolphin in a monsoon. Spa, mastered. Canada 2011, a Shakespearean epic in pit stops and plot twists. He didn't shout, he didn't whine. He just slid his car through rain like it owed him money. JB was the type to thank his engineers and still roast them the next lap. A smooth-talking, tire-whispering Brit with a championship and 1,000 smirks. Jochen Rindt, the fastest ghost in the game. Jochen Rindt is the only driver to win a world championship posthumously. That sentence alone is a black hole of F1 mythos. The Austrian rebel was fast, reckless, and magnetically cursed, driving like every lap was a dare. In 1970, he built a lead so commanding, even death couldn't stop him from winning the title. His Lotus 72 was a rocket ship with cardboard safety features, and Rindt drove it like the brakes were optional. His legend lives in the margins, brief, violent, unforgettable. Stirling Moss, the greatest to never hold the crown. Stirling Moss didn't need a championship to become a legend. He was the ultimate purist. The guy who could have won titles but instead chose to race honorably, aggressively, and everywhere all at once. F1, sports cars, rally, you name it. He probably won it. Moss finished runner-up 4 times, mostly because he refused to play politics or stab teammates in the back. A career built on pace and principle, Moss was the driver every driver envied and the fans adored. His title? Undisputed moral champion. Who's your GOAT?